We are working on Word Multi-Project 3. We're working on the Dive Show project. Task 1 asks us to go ahead and insert a Excel file beneath the text below our highlight sessions you will want to attend. So we'll go ahead and put our cursor here in this first line. We'll click the Insert tab, and we're going to go to the text group over here, and we want to select Object, not Text from File, but Object. Create from File, we'll click Browse. We'll find our GMetrix folder, and we'll find this Excel file right here. If you're not sure, you have file type over here. And we'll click Insert, and we'll click OK. You don't want to select any of these. The next thing we need to do is go to the last line on the second page. We'll go ahead and select this text, and we're going to turn this into a hyperlink. So we're on the Insert tab still. We're going to click Hyperlink, and I'm actually going to copy this using Control-C. I'm going to click the email address here, and the text we want to display is still the email address. The email address will go here, and we want to put the subject of registration. So again, we're on the email address section over here, the link, and filling this out. The third thing we're going to do is navigate to the bookmark taxi and delete the entire line from that location. So we'll go to the Home tab. We'll go to the Find, Go To, Bookmark. Taxi populated for me, so I'll go ahead and click Go To. I can close out of this. And with that highlighted, I can hit the Delete key on my keyboard, and it will disappear. Task 4 asks us to change the page orientation of this document to portrait. So we're going to go to the Layout tab. We're going to click Orientation and click Portrait. And I'll change that document. The next thing we're going to be asked to do is to change the theme of the document to Integral. So we're going to switch over to the Design tab. We'll click Themes, and then we'll select Integral. The next thing we need to do is to add an Ion Dark footer to the document. We're going to be on the Insert tab, all the way over to Footer, and we're going to scroll through here until we find Ion Dark. We'll go ahead and close out the header and footer once we've inserted that. And then we're going to configure Word not to print in the background. Now, anytime you see the word configure in GMetrix, or even on the certification test, you're going to want to think File Options. So we'll click File, Options. This is going to be on the Advanced tab. We'll scroll through till we find the Printing. And we're going to uncheck Print in Background. Click OK. We are working on Word Multi-Project 3. Currently, we're on the Utah Snow project. The first task asks us to add the lines distinctive formatting to the style, the formatting style to this document. So we're going to go ahead and go to the Design tab up here, and in this area we're going to click this drop down box, and I believe it's not the first one. I thought it was. It's this one right here. Remember, if you're not sure which one to apply, hover before you click and it will tell you what it's called. We'll go ahead and click Mark Completed. We're going to add page number to the bottom of this document, specifically the bold numbers. We're going to go to the Insert tab here, and immediately you're probably going to think footer, but we actually want page numbers. Bottom of page, and we'll go to bold numbers 3. We'll close out of our footer. Click Mark Completed. We're going to add the watermark Draft 1 to all pages. That can be found on the Design tab. We're going to go Watermark. We're going to scroll through. I went too far. We're going to scroll down to Draft 1. And it's there in the background, faintly. We'll click Mark Completed. We're going to replace all instances of snowboarder with skier. So we're going to go to the Home tab. We'll click Replace Snowboarder. We'll put in skier. We'll click Replace All. It says there were 4 changes made. We can click Close. Mark Completed. And we're going to the last, this last bit over here. This is Smart Art. We're going to click this. If it didn't open, we'll click that. And on our last bullet, we're going to go ahead and type Greatest Snow on Earth. make sure you capitalize the words here. And that's the end of that step. We'll click Mark Completed. We are working on GMetrix Word Practice Exam 3. We're on Project 3 called Fudge Flyer. Task 1 wants us to go ahead and replace LB in the document with pound. The key word in this task is configure. Configure often means to go to the options. So we'll go ahead and click File, Options. In proofing, we'll go ahead and click Autocorrect Options. And here, we're going to go ahead and type in LB and then make sure you add the period. A lot of my students get that wrong because they forget that period. And I'll hit Tab to go to the next section, and I'll go ahead and type in pound. We'll go ahead and click Add, and we'll click OK. We can close out of this dialog box, and we'll click Mark Completed. Task 2 wants us to go ahead and change the color of our first line, the text that says Gourmet Fudge Sale. And what we're going to do is change the color here to Orange Accent 2. So we're on the Home tab. We are in the font group, our font color here. What we want to do is click the drop down, and what we're looking for is Orange Accent 2. That's not it. If you're not sure, make sure you hover so that you select the correct option. We'll go ahead and select that, and we can click Mark Completed. Task 3 wants us to go ahead and apply a 6-point spacing before all of the paragraphs within this document. So with my cursor here in the document, what I'm going to do is hit Control A on my keyboard to select everything in this document. We're on the Home tab in the paragraph group. We'll go ahead and click this dialog box launcher. And in the spacing section, it wants us to change the before to 6 points. So it's currently set at 0. And what we'll do is click this up arrow to select 6, or you can type it in. And we'll click OK. And notice it went ahead and applied that. We'll go ahead and click Mark Completed. Task 4 wants us to go ahead and highlight the term free in our last sentence with a turquoise highlight. So we'll go ahead and select that word free. We're on the Home tab. We're in the font group, and this is our highlight here. What we want to do is click the drop down. What we're looking for is turquoise. So again, if you're not sure, make sure you hover. We'll go ahead and click Mark Completed. Task 5 wants us to go ahead and insert a shape. We're going to go ahead and change the color and center it with the height of 1 inch and the width of 3.5. So we'll go to the Insert tab here at the top. We want to go to the Shapes drop down in the Illustrations group. We're going to be in the Stars and Banners group, and we're looking for the down ribbon here. With the ribbon selected, we have the Drawing Tools Format tab, and we want to be in the Arrange group. We'll go ahead and align center. We'll also go ahead and change the height to 1 and the width to 3.5. And what we want to do is to change the color of this shape, and we want the Intense Effect Orange Accent 2. So we're here in the Shape Styles. Again, we still have this ribbon selected so that we have the Drawing Tools Format tab. And what we're looking for is the Intense Orange. And we'll go ahead and select that. We'll click off our shape, click Mark Completed. We are working on Word Multi-Project 3. Currently, we're on the project called Computer Courses. The first task asks us to go ahead and select this table right here. I'm going to go ahead and select this box to make sure I have everything selected in the table. We're going to go to the Design tab, and we're going to change the grid table to, or the table colors to Grid Table 2 Accent 1. We'll go ahead and click this drop down, and we have the grid tables here, and I believe it's this one. If you're not sure, make sure you hover if you're not sure, and then that way you know exactly what you're selecting. Mark Completed. The next thing we're going to do is to change the left and right margins of this table. So we still have this table selected, and because we have a table selected, we get special tabs at the top. We want to click Layout, and then over here in the Alignment group, we want to select Cell Margins, and we want to change the left and right to 0.1 on each. We'll click OK, and we'll click Mark Completed. Our third task asks us to go ahead and split this top cell right here. Right now it's merged to 1, but we want to split it. So we still have these special tabs at the top. We're on the Layout, and we just want to click Split Cells. and it will ask us 2-1. That'll be correct. We'll click Mark Completed. Task 4 asks us to split the table starting at between OneNote and Outlook. So we'll go ahead and put our cursor here. We'll click again because we have the table selected. We're in the Layouts tab that goes along with this table, and we'll click Split Table. And notice that it dropped that bottom section down, and now it's its own table. And then it asks us to go ahead and move that table off to the right next to this one. We'll click Mark Completed. And the 5th thing it wants us to do is to configure the table below and have this heading running to repeat to the next page. So we'll go ahead and select this table, and we need to go to the Layout tab, and over here in the data, just click Repeat Header Rows, and now if we go to the next page, it has that information there. We'll click Mark Completed. We are working on Word Multi-Project 3, currently on the Taco Trucks project. The first thing we need to do to this document is to move the independently owned and operated line all the way to the bottom between the green bar and the hours of operation. We'll click Mark Completed. It's asking us to go ahead and remove the formatting from this line right here. We're on the Home tab and we're clicking Clear Formatting. But if you don't read all the way through, you'll miss this part. It says center it again. So with this line still selected, we'll go ahead and click center. We'll click Mark Completed. The third thing we need to do is below the section break, we need to change the margins to wide. Now, right now I have the paragraph marking showing, so I can see this section break right here. If you do not have that, you want to click the Home tab, go to the paragraph group, and click this button right here. Once you see this break right here, we'll click below it. We'll go to the Layout tab, and we want to change our margins to wide from here. Click Mark Completed. The next thing we're going to do is select the drinks lines underneath that heading, and it's asking us to make it a default bulleted list. So we'll go back to our Home tab, and again with these lines selected, we'll click the bullets. We'll click Mark Completed. And our 5th thing it wants us to do is to change the bullets up here, starting with big beef and the big beef and the quesadillas. We'll select those bullets, and if you just click on it, it'll select them all for you. We want to click the drop down box here for the bullets. We'll click Define New Bullet, Pictures, Browse. We'll go to our Documents GMetrix folder, and we'll select tacos, or taco the image, JPEG. We'll click OK. Went ahead and replaced those bullets with tacos. We'll click Mark Completed. We are working on Word Multi-Project 3. Currently we're working on the Reforestation project. The first thing we need to do is to apply the heading 1 style to 5 steps, the text. And if you're not careful, you will select these 5 things, apply the heading 1 style, and get this question wrong. But all we need to do is select the 5 steps. We'll go ahead and click heading 1. And we've completed that step. We'll click Mark Completed. The next thing we're going to do is create a new citation for a website. We need to go to the References tab here at the top, and we're going to go ahead and click Manage Sources. Now you could do Insert Add Citation, but it's actually going to insert something into your document, so it's safe because we're not actually placing it anywhere to create it from the Manage Sources. We're going to click New. It is a website. Now the USDA Forest Service is actually the corporate author, so we'll go ahead and type that. Make sure you have all the capitalization here and you spell these words correctly. We're going to go ahead and put the name of the website as this, when it has a mouthful. And finally, we need to add the URL here. Make sure you add the HTTP and all of the correct symbols and punctuations, because if you don't, it will mark you wrong. Click OK. We'll click Close. We'll click Mark Completed. We need to go to this image right here, and what we're going to do is actually right-click it, or you can be on the References and click Insert Caption, but I'm going to right-click here, click Insert Caption. Now this one's a little bit tricky because you need to space, dash space, dad. We want to make sure that the position is below, like it asked for. We're going to go ahead and click OK. Now, from here, we're going to select the outside of this box, and you can do this from here or from up here, but we need to change the text wrapping settings to square, and it's that first left one. If you can't see it, I encourage you to go up here to the format where you have the text wrap up here. We'll click Mark Completed. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and insert a continuous cycle, and it's calling it a diagram, but it's actually Smart Art. We'll click Smart Art here, and it is a cycle, and I believe it's this one. If you're not sure, make sure you hover over it before you select it. Make sure you're selecting the correct thing. We'll click OK. We're going to change the height to 3 inches high, so if you're not careful, this is not what you want selected. You actually want the outside edge of this so that you're not changing the size of an individual element within the Smart Art. You want the whole Smart Art diagram to change at once. So we'll click that, we'll click size, and the height is going to be 3, and the width will say 6. Then it's going to have us change the colored outline. That's going to be on the Design tab. And again, we have this object selected, so we have special tools at the top. So we're on the Design tab. We're going to change the colors to Accent 2 Outline. Make sure, if you're not sure, again, hover. Don't guess, hover. Make sure you're selecting the right things. And then finally, we're going to cut these steps right here, and we're actually going to place it into our Smart Art. Now I'm going to use Control X, but of course you have these options up here. And then I'm going to open this up. I'm actually going to just put my cursor there. I'm going to do Control V to paste, or you could select this. Now, if you're not careful, you have all these extra text boxes here. We're just going to go ahead and delete these out, and all I'm hitting is backspace on my keyboard on that line, and notice they're removed. Once you're done with that, go ahead and click Mark Completed. We are working on Word Multi-Project 3. We're on the Family Orchid project. The first task is going to ask us to go ahead and apply the present one effect to this photo. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. Anytime you have a photo, Smart Art, table, chart, there's some other things, you get special tabs at the top. So we're going to go ahead and click this format button here, and we're looking for the present one effect. Now if you're just thinking and just clicking, you might select from here, but you actually want picture effects. And once you click that, you have the present, and we're looking for present one, which happens to be this one. If you're not sure, hover. It will tell you what you are selecting before you do so. We'll click Mark Completed. The next step has us going to this picture right here, and we're going to apply a border, but we're not just applying a border that's green. We also need to add the weight of 3 points. So you can do which one you choose first, but make sure you do both. And so with this selected, we want to do picture border drop down. We'll go ahead and select light green first, but then we need to go back and select our weight. And for this one, it already has it set for 3, but you want to do both. We'll click Mark Completed. The third task asks us to go ahead and select the picture of the peach, and we're going to apply a bevel rectangle. Now, there are picture effects that are bevel, but this one is a picture style. Now I have to find it. If you're not sure, we're going to hover. There we go. Took me a little bit, but again, I wasn't sure, so I just hovered. Apply the style. We'll go ahead and click Mark Completed. And task 4 asks us to find the plum photo. We're going to go ahead and apply the tight text wrap. Now I can do that from here and apply the tight, or with this selected, again, we have the special tabs at the top. We'll click here, the text wrap in the Arrange group, and we'll click tight, and that'll do the same thing. We'll click Mark Completed.